Hey folks, welcome to Hank's True BBQ. Now, dry brining, does it work or can you just skip it? Well, let's find out. Now, in order to find out, I bought some really nice flank steak. This one is dry aged, as you can probably tell from the color, specifically, well, the darker red meat, but also the yellowish fat on the surface. This one's real good, so I'm gonna slice this up in two so we can do a comparison. Now, dry brining. Well, dry brining is essentially wet brining without the fluid, basically. So you apply salt to meat a few hours in advance, preferably overnight. It all depends on the thickness of the meat. Now, what's the big benefit? Well, when you add salt, you're gonna amplify the beef's natural flavor, and that's always a good thing. Some people refer to dry brining as being not so good because when you apply salt, you can see that it draws moisture out of the meat. And that's true for the first few minutes. The thing is, once the water has dissolved the salt goes back into the surface of the meat. If you wait 20 to 40 minutes, you can see that. I've actually photographed that and I actually put it in my book, Barbecue, Fire and Smoke, if you want to check that out. But the point is, the salt goes back in, and when you apply heat, the salt goes even further into the meat. So this is a good thing. And also, salt has very small molecules, so well, actually it's small enough to penetrate the meat, and that's a good thing. So again, applying a brine means you amplify the beef flavor, and a dry brine is simpler than a wet brine because you simply apply salt to the meat and you're good. No need to get that big old bucket out, fill it with water and create a saline solution. So dry brining is easier. But the thing is, it's not that often you do before after experiments, and I thought this is what just fits the bill for this channel exactly. So let's do a brine versus no brine experiment with the flank steak. So I'm gonna cut that in half. We're gonna apply salt to one of them. I'm gonna put a toothpick in so we can identify which one is which. And then tomorrow, after 24 hours, I'm gonna grill it and taste it and see what the flavor is like. And the nice thing about this one is, this is something you can do at home, and I urge you to try it, to experiment and see for yourself and taste it, to determine what you like, what are your preferences. All right, let's get to cooking. So this is what the meat looks like. I've trimmed off the edges just a bit. Don't worry, I'm still gonna cook them and eat them on the side, but I wanted to square this one up to get an two equal size cuts of meat. And the benefit is that this is the exact same flank, so there's no difference in which animal this comes from. Now I put the toothpick in one. I'm gonna slice this up. I'm trying to guesstimate where the middle is. This should be good. Just cut this through, and now we're gonna apply salt to the one with the toothpick. Gonna get this one out the way. Now, when I apply a dry brine, I use regular table salt, which I think is good. I always recommend 1 teaspoon per kilo, which is half a teaspoon per pound. Sometimes I do add more, it all depends. That's a general recommendation. If you have issues with trying to reduce salt in your food, well, of course, you could go lower. I typically go higher, but I'm gonna basically cover this one with salt, just like that. And now you can see how easy it is. We're gonna pat it in just like a rub, flip it over, apply salt on this side too. Man, this is looking good. So this one's done. I'm gonna wrap it in saran wrap, and that one too. But again, now we know the brine one is the one with the toothpick. So this goes into the fridge for exactly 24 hours, and then we're gonna cook it. So you're ready to cook up some flank, do an A/B comparison. This is the device I'm gonna use. It's a regular kettle with my Santa Maria accessory on top, so I can move the grates up and down. I'm gonna run this one pretty hot, get the grates down close to the fire. I have a pile of charcoal briquettes running now just to get the heat up a bit, so I'm gonna add some firewood here. I got some oak wood to get some real high heat, so I'm just gonna put these on and we should be ready to go within 10-15 minutes. This is going to be an interesting cook. Good to see the differences. And again, like I said before, you can try this at home and see what you think for yourself. fire is coming along nicely. Just gonna give it a few more minutes, then we're gonna drop the grates and start grilling. It's time to drop the grates just a bit. So here we go. I'm gonna place this just a bit away from the fire. I checked with my hand and it's hottest right here over the flames, and I want to avoid that. So and we have another one. The one with the toothpick again is the one that got dry brine. And this is the au natural, I guess. The nice thing about cooking it like this Santa Maria style is even though we're grilling, you can see there's some smoke coming from the oak wood, so that's going to add a bit of flavor to the meat, which is really nice. So this is going to be good regardless. Now looking at these, you can see it's extremely easy on a flank to see where the muscle fibers are going. So of course we're going to cut it up that way. 90-degree angle to the fibers always. Well, this is nice because it's going to be a quick cook. I keep flipping every few minutes here, and I'm keep checking temps to make sure we're cooking them relatively even. But this is looking good. These are coming along real nice. Check temps. 40 Celsius, 48, let's see, 47, yeah, getting close to done. Oh, nice to see they're so equal in temp. This one is almost done. One or two flips just to brown them up and we should be good. Gonna swap these. Alright, I think this is going to be the final flip. Nice. We're going to let them rest for a few minutes before we slice them too. Okay, I'm calling it. Going to get these over to the cutting board. I'm going to slice them up in a few minutes. That's looking good though. I took them to, well, they're not perfectly even in thickness, so between 56, 58 Celsius. Should be good. Let them rest a few minutes and time to taste these bad boys. Alright, time to slice this up. So again, this is the brine version. I'm gonna cut it in half first to get a good length. Oh, that's looking good. Nice. Alright. Tough job, but someone has to do it. That's looking good. Alright, so no brine versus, gonna cut it right underneath the toothpick. No brine over here, and this is the brine version. Oh, that's looking just right too. I think flank is one of those cuts you really don't want to overcook. So whole tray of meat just for me. That's good. So just for taste test reasons, I'm going to start with the no brine meat, just to see what it's like. I'm thinking, well, actually beforehand, since I keep brining, there's a good reason for it, because you want to amplify beef flavor. So this test, I mean the flank, no brine flank is really good. You can taste the raw beef flavor, it's all good. I'm gonna try the brine version now. Really good. The difference, is it's quite easily noticeable, is the brine version, not only does it taste more beef, but of course it tastes just a bit of salt also, which really adds nice flavor. It just boosts the beef flavor in itself. So the dry brine version is definitely a winner, hands down. I mean, try this at home, try out different salt levels, see what you think is best for you, what you appreciate. But this is really good. And also, now I brine this for 24 hours. Depending on the thickness of the meat, you're gonna have to let it go for even longer. So remember that. Longer brine means more effect. Man, this was good. Great test. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try dry brining, because it's so much easier than wet brining. And for typical barbecue cuts and grilling meats like this, it's dead easy. So why not? All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next episode.